Hi, this is Sini here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing great. Today I'm back with another vlog, and today I'm going to be talking about phonics, which is another frequently used word in a preschooler's life. Now, as parents, sometimes we get overwhelmed because we don't know how to support a child. So today my vlog is all going to be all about what phonics is, because let's face it, that's not a term that we've grown up with. And what are the three aspects that are kept in mind while teaching phonics in schools, and also why is phonics taught in schools? What is the most important reason as to why phonics is taught? Yeah, so we are going to be discussing this in this video, and if you're going to find this helpful, please do not skip and watch till the end. Before I start off, I'd like to give a small introduction about myself. I was a preschool teacher in an international school in Bangalore, and yes, now I am a homemaker. So let's get started with the video and let's find out more about phonics. Okay, so let's start with what phonics is. Phonics is nothing but a methodology that helps people to read by training them to associate letters with sounds. So basically, when we are teaching phonics, we are training our child to associate a letter with their sound, which will help them to read further. Now, another term we come across is phonetics. Now, what is phonetics? And are phonetics and phonics the same? Well, phonetics means the scientific study of sounds of human speech, okay? But unfortunately, or is it by mistake, I don't know, but it's a word that is commonly interchanged with phonics and phonetics. So if you hear it in local conversations, it basically means the same. Okay, so now let's talk about why phonics programs are mostly used in schools to teach literacy skills. Now, we all are aware that phonics help our kids to read well and they become more confident readers. So through phonics, the technique of blending is taught, which will help children to read words that are unknown to them, and it will help them to avoid guess words through context or through pictures. For example, T makes the sound t, 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 okay, and the letter A makes the sound a, a, a. But when we bring them together, okay, the blending technique helps us to learn that this becomes a new sound, and the new sound it becomes is ta, ta, t, a, ta. Okay, now let's add another sound to this, okay? And for example, this is the letter N, okay? And the letter N makes the sound When we join all of these sounds with the blending technique, they become the word tan. Tan. That is t, a, ta, t, a, tan. Okay. Now, when we were talking about guessing, for example, if a child is not introduced to phonics, the child would probably read this, okay? If the word tan is an unknown word to the child would probably read this as 10. If there is the number 10 written over here, so it will misguide the child, and child would probably read the word as 10 if they are not introduced to the phonics program or the blending techniques, right? So the child would probably see the letter T and the letter N at the end, and would probably take a guess and read this as the word 10 instead of the word tan. Now, we as adults know that both these words mean different. So phonics basically helps the child to read unknown words, okay, to avoid situations where the child is guessing, because of a picture or any context that is already present. It also helps them to become more confident readers, and it also adds on to their vocabulary, okay, and comprehension. Now let's talk about 3 aspects that are taught while teaching a phonics sound. Let's take the letter T. The letter T makes the sound T, T, T. This is the first thing that is taught to children when a letter is introduced, okay? So basically, they are taught to identify that that is the letter T, and the letter T makes the sound T, T, T. Children learn to identify this. The second aspect that is taught to them is association. So they are taught that the sound T can be found in the word tent, tomato. All begin with the sound T. Please do excuse my drawing skills here as the children grow. So probably a 5 to 6 year old child should be able to identify those particular sounds that is introduced to them, not just in the beginning of the word, also in the middle, also in the end. Yeah? These are called as the beginning or the middle or the end sounds. Let's, for example, take the same letter T and let's associate it in this. Okay, now for example, if I show the child wallet, here the child is taught to identify the same sound T at the end of the word, okay, rather than in the beginning of the word. But the sound is still there in the word wallet. The child is also taught to associate the same sound as a middle sound. For example, let's take the same letter T. Okay, the T makes the sound T. Okay, and for example, in the word butterfly, okay, the sound T, butterfly, can be heard in the middle of the word. The third aspect that is taught to a child is formation of the letter. Now, when we talk about formation as a third aspect, if the child is taught uppercase letters as the first letter sound that they learn, then the child will know that the correct formation of the letter T is a straight line. Okay, lift your pencil up, come back to the smiley here, and so this is the formation for the letter T. This is what they learn, okay, and this is the third aspect that is taught to them. Depending on the age of the child is introduced to such bubble letters, such big letters, okay, where the child can use markers or sketch pens or crayons to start writing. So if the child is around 3 to 4, the child is first introduced to this formation with the help of bubble letters. As the child gains confidence, okay, the size of the letters becomes smaller and smaller till they are taught to write in a 4 line. So the 3 main aspects that are taught to children when they are introduced to any letter sound is first to identify it, then they are taught to associate the same letter in many words, and then they are taught to form those letters correctly. And as parents, we can support them by repeating the sounds at home, by helping them to identify it, to form it correctly, and to associate the sounds. Now, this does not always mean that the child has to sit formally for time period where the child is learning all of this, the child can do it in daily activities too. For example, the child can associate the sound T if the letter T is introduced, and suppose the child is going to be eating dinner. So while you take the child to the dinner table, you could probably show the table and stress that the word table begins with the sound T, T, T. So what happens is the child begins to recognize objects and words around themselves that have the sound T. Yeah? And then they will be able to apply their learning into the real life situations.